Welcome to Witch Weekly, your weekly dose of all things Harry Potter. I'm your host Mel B, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host Marissa. Hi Marissa.
Hi Mel, how are you?
I'm alright. Still got my kitty. She's disappeared now, but she has to be somewhere in here. The door's closed.
She can't get out underneath the door or anything.
I'd certainly hope not. She'd be a very flat kitty. But yes, before we started recording, for context people, the cat thought it was fair that we each got 50% of my chair, not taking into account the fact that I am 5 times bigger than her. And yes, there was a bit of squabbling over a chair between me and a cat. Anyway, how are you, Marissa?
Oh, just dandy. I get my chair all to myself. I don't have a cat to take up half of it, so.
See, when you get a cat, it's like a marriage. They get 50% of everything, despite being tiny.
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
If they want to, they can take up a queen-size bed and push you off.
I hear that, small humans do that too, so.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, you all lie this way. Well, I'm going to lie horizontal to you. Perpendicular?
And over your faces. That's how it goes.
Oh, no, she started sleeping in my bed, actually, as of last night. And it was really cute. So she slept sort of down near my legs at first, like around the thigh level. And then when I woke up around midnight and got up and turned everything off, when I went back to bed, she, came and lay up at the pillows. And is there, demanding pats. And I'm there going, shh, sleep. Wow. Sleep.
Oh, poor Mel. Life is hard.
Oh no, we both fell asleep and I slept fine after that, and I woke up and she was there going, Pats?
Oh, good.
She's full of love.
That's good.
But anyways, this is the second part of our Sacred 28 episode.
This is true. We're gonna get the other half done because it turned out to be too much for just one episode.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, so much. This is going
for
forever.
Sure.
What time
we were
is
sharing
it?
the wealth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was almost the next day over here, so.
Yeah, so we thought, let's cut it short at half.
Seems reasonable.
Yes, we are reasonable people.
I mean, we try.
So I do not have a question for this half.
Yeah, I figured as much. Because we had the question covering the entire Sacred 28 last time, so.
Exactly. So I thought, let's just dive in. And at the end, we can do some general talkity talk. And we can do our random ships.
Yeah, sounds fantastic.
Right. So, entering the second 14 of the 28, we start with a name everyone should know, the Malfoys.
I mean, they should. We have Draco Malfoy there to thwart Harry Potter at every twist and turn in the story.
Exactly.
On Pottermore it says, the fate of this long-standing dynasty might have ended had Draco Malfoy and his parents, Lucius and Narcissa, not decided to switch sides during the Battle of Hogwarts. The pure-blood Malfoy went on to marry Astoria Greengrass and had a son, Scorpius. We talked about Astoria earlier, even though we don't really have her in the story, per se. We have her older sister, Daphne, but we don't ever get anything about her. And we all know about little Scorpius Malfoy.
Yeah.
We try not to talk about it because all the context we have is Cursed Child, and we try to, most of the time, figure it doesn't really actually exist. But anyway, Draco Malfoy, I think he's not all the way redeemed by the end of the story.
I would have to agree.
Okay, because he was still a complete jerk, and he was always super rude to everybody that wasn't pureblood, and even people that were pureblood, like the Weasleys. He was always super rude to them, and I don't think him being ultimately switching sides at the last moment redeems him from being a total racist.
No.
The entirety of the story.
I think everybody, the people who defend him, their argument, he was raised into it and so on and so forth. That's all he knew. I suppose, not by the end of the story, but I suppose later in life he could potentially redeem himself. However, Rowling makes it kind of clear that he didn't.
Right.
In her,
yeah, she does say that he's not redeemable.
Yeah, and in her
I'm pretty
Pottermore.
sure she said that in an interview.
Yeah, in her Pottermore, she talks about how he ends up, like, you know, being amongst his wealth and just sort of angry, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's this description at the top of the wiki article, and I don't know where it's from. Remember, wiki is questionable at all times, but it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's often said of the Malfoy family that you will never find one at the scene of the crime, although their fingerprints might be all over the guilty wand. Independently wealthy with no need to work for a living, they have generally preferred the role of power behind the throne, happy for others to do the donkey work and take the responsibility for failure. They have helped finance many of their preferred candidates' election campaigns, which have, it is alleged, included paying for dirty work such as hexing the opposition. That sounds about right.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up for them.
Mm.
I want to know how they're independently wealthy though.
Well, let's scroll down and see if anything is mentioned. Oh, their manor is in Wiltshire. They are related to many pureblood families, including Blacks, Lestrangers, Greengrasses, and Rosiers.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a fact. The Malfoys, unlike the Blacks, the Gaunts, and the Lestrangers, are willing to marry half-bloods.
What?
Apparently. What source is that? Let's find the source.
Right. I don't know if I believe that.
Okay. Source number 7. Pottermore.
Oh, okay then.
So click. Oh, that doesn't count.
What?
So I clicked the Pottermore link and it took me to the Pottermore wiki page.
Oh. That's not fair.
That's not fair. It's like, take me to, you know,
where it actually says that.
Where it actually says that on Pottermore. Like, you can't reference, there's a bunch. Okay, let's try one of these. Where's that taking me? To another wiki page.
We don't have a lot of Malfoy stuff. Like, we know about Narcissa and her sisters, which were the Blacks, but we don't really have anything about Lucius and who he was related to, really.
Yeah.
We get brief mention of Draco's grandpa.
Yes. He's very
he
proud.
says something to Slughorn about it, and we just get the fact that he died of dragonpox.
Yes, Abraxas.
That's right.
So according to Wiki, they arrived in Britain. The first Malfoy to come was Armand Malfoy. He founded the family estate and it had obtained the land from King William I of England.
Gotcha.
Or William the Conqueror, so there you go. Before the International Statute of Wizarding Secrecy, the Malfoys had integrated themselves into high-class Muggle society, although they deny this in later generations.
Of course.
A notable past generation Malfoy is Nicholas, who is believed to have dispatched many fractious Muggle tenants under the guise of the Black Death.
Ooh.
There you go.
That's one way to go about it. Let's get rid of a bunch of Muggles by making everybody think they died because of the plague.
So yeah, that's interesting. They have a family crest. It pays homage to Salazar Slytherin, bearing the colour black, green, and silver, as well as images of several serpentine creatures. The Latin words Sanctimonia Vincet Semper appear inscribed on the silver banner, meaning purity will always conquer.
Ugh. Hate that.
Yep. Oh, they've got quite the family tree.
I bet they do.
Somebody's actually gone to the effort Oh, they've also attached to the black, so that helps make it bigger. So, sorry. I'm never going to get better. I'm just going to die.
Don't do that.
Yes, as you're saying, like, the Malfoy family are very much the ones we meet in Harry Potter. Narcissa has qualities. Like, she's got that mother's love that JK is all about. But Lucius is just slimy and ugh. And Draco, was an awful kid.
Yeah, I mean, with Narcissa, like, she did lie to Lord Voldemort, which I find really fascinating. I read a fan theory or something that claims that she would be the greatest Occlumens in the entire history of the world because she was able to lie to Voldemort and he didn't read her mind.
Snape lied to Voldemort all the time.
Yes, but she lied about something really important, the fact that Harry Potter wasn't dead.
Wait, you're saying that all of Snape's lying wasn't important?
I'm not saying that, but you lied to the leader of your cult about the kid that he's trying to kill not actually being dead.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that people think that she's a really good Occlumens because why did Voldemort just trust her enough to not try to read her mind?
See, that's what I just thought.
Determine if he was too concerned with her saying that it was okay that he was and that he was dead that he didn't try to read her mind. It's just I read a theory once and
I've heard the theory.
It made sense.
It could, but I also just think that he trusted her. Like, and it doesn't take a lot of trust. He was just like, this servant of mine will tell me that, like, confirm for me if I have or have not killed my enemy.
Yeah, I just wonder why her.
I cannot answer that.
Like, why not Bellatrix? Because she was there.
She
would have loved to confirm.
Was she ordered to check, or did she just go and check?
Narcissa was ordered to check. Okay. I'm just wondering why her. That's my question.
She was in his line of sight.
It's possible. Because anybody else wouldn't have lied.
Yeah.
That's the important part.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Harry was very lucky.
Mm-hmm. But yes, so...
Anything else you want to say, or shall I move on to entomology?
Do the entomology. I think we're good.
Malfoy is derived from the French malfoy, meaning badly, or in this case, bad faith, or unfaithful. In law, bad faith refers to a case in which a malicious motive on the part of a party in a lawsuit undermines the case. This would be relevant to the general cruel natures displayed by Lucius and Draco, as well as Narcissa. In existentialism, bad faith is a philosophical concept in which people blame their own failures on external factors, thus denying responsibility for their actions. Also, this most likely refers to the Malfoys' tendency to switch their loyalties to avoid danger or punishment, rather than steadfastly supporting their present views. So there you go.
That makes sense.
JK very thoroughly thought about their name for anybody who's read about, like, how she decided Draco's name. Because he was, like, spungent or something at one stage.
Yeah. She also, I just read a bunch of the stuff that she said about different names that she had picked out for people. Like, I think Neville's last name at one point was supposed to be Puck or something like that.
Oh, yes.
It was very strange.
Yeah. Very strange. She definitely chose right with Draco Malfoy.
Oh, yeah. Totally
That's a good
fits.
name.
Yeah.
So that moves us on to the next one on our list. The Knott family. Not?
No, it is not.
Ah.
With 2 T's. It says, weedy-looking Theodore Knott was a contemporary of Harry's at Hogwarts, whose father was one of the Death Eaters summoned upon the Dark Lord's return in the Goblet of Fire. The elder Knott was one of the very early Death Eaters. Cantankerous Knott is widely believed to have authored the Sacred 28.
Yep.
That would make sense.
Yep.
Because why would anybody outside of the Sacred 28 publish the Sacred 28?
Exactly. Nobody else cares.
I was about to say, they're the only ones that care about such nonsense.
Yeah. So...
I think we only get, like, one mention of the younger Theodore Nott in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I think they talk about him and Malfoy, like, talking together, and they say it's because their parents are, you know, Death Eater pals.
Yeah. And I think, wasn't he in the third movie, they put Theodore Nott in the place of Goyle? Was it Goyle who was missing from the third movie? I think it was.
I thought it was Crabbe.
One of them was missing.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure
But
the guy who played Crabbe...
The thing is, in the movies, Crabbe and Goyle, their descriptions are like flipped from the books. So Crabbe looks like Goyle's description in the books, and Goyle looks like Crabbe's description. So that always confuses the out of me.
Yeah, it's...
But one of them was missing, and the boy who replaced him was credited as Theodore Nott.
Yeah, I can see that. I think he was like a darker blonde than Tom Felton was.
Yeah, scrawny, dark blonde. I'm pretty sure he's credited as Theodore Nott. Just there's something niggly in my head telling me that. I might be wrong.
That sounds right. That sounds right to me.
Yeah, it sounds right, so it's good enough, right?
But if our listeners want to, they can email us and be like, no, you're wrong. It's actually this other guy. Okay, that works too.
So there's a theory. It's possible that the family is not all truly pure blood, and if Cantankerous is the author of the Pure Blood Directory, then he probably just listed the Nott family so they would get praised by other supremacists. However, on an old version of her website, J.K. Rowling described Theodore Nott as being as pure blood as Draco. This doesn't exclude the possibility that some Notts were half-blood, as Pottermore confirmed that some half-blood Malfoys exist.
Okay. I still see nothing to support that.
Yeah, there's nothing to support it.
Yeah. Maybe it was on the old version of Pottermore. We don't know. We only have the version we have now.
Exactly. So. Can only do so much. So the etymology. The name Nott may be derived from not with a accent over the O.
Alright.
I don't know how to say it with the accent. I'm just like, cool, there's an accent. There's a different way to say it. The personification of night in Norse mythology. It is also similar in pronunciation to the words naught and not, as in tie a knot.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Yeah, it would make sense that he would put his own family in the Sacred 28 even if they weren't. So
it does make sense, but yeah, we can't confirm whether or not that's true.
Exactly.
So moving on to a family that's not Notts.
You're gonna love that. You're gonna love doing that all the time.
Nah, I can't be bothered. It takes a little bit of brain power to make it fit. Like, that's a little bit of brain power that I should save for other things.
Who wants to save brain power? It seems unlikely to happen. Anywho, next up we have the Ollivanders.
I knew you'd be excited.
I was, because these are the ones I picked to be a part of. It's very, very short on Pottermore. It says, makers of fine wands since 382 BC, the Ollivanders could make quite a claim to be among the oldest wizarding families.
There is a thing, it says, it is said that the name means that he who owns the olive wand. That's up in like the description. That's up in like the top description, not the etymology.
I understand. That would make sense.
Yeah, which suggests the original Ollivander arrived in Britain from a Mediterranean country, olive trees not being native to the UK.
I see. Very interesting.
Garrick Ollivander believes that his earliest ancestors in England arrived with the Romans and set up a stall, subsequently a shop, to sell ancient British wizards whose wands were crude of construction and unreliable in performance.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
There is a lot on Pottermore about wand lore, which I have read through a time or two, talking about why he chose the 3 cores that he did, the phoenix feather, the unicorn tail hair, and the dragon heartstring. And if anybody's interested in learning more about wands, I suggest going on to Pottermore and just reading all the things that are quote-unquote written by Ollivander. It's all very interesting. Gives all the descriptions of the different woods and what they mean and what they can mean for your wand, and it's very, very interesting.
I love how so I'm just looking through here, loads of the Ollivanders have first names, but not our Ollivander. He's just Mr. Ollivander.
Well, isn't his first name Garrick?
Wasn't Garrick the father of Mr. Ollivander? 2 seconds, let's look.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was
Garrick
Garrick. There we go. So his son is just known as Mr. Ollivander, and his daughter Miss Ollivander.
I guess so.
His daughter died before 1991. No.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I misread. So I was like, at first it's like, oh yeah, Garrick, that's him. And then there was something else, and I'm like, I'm bad. I'm a bad fan. I don't know everything.
Shame on you.
Shame on me. So pretty much it just says, like, any Ollivander that's mentioned, it's like, and they owned the one shop during this period, and that's like, cool. Did they do anything else? No? Okay.
No. They just existed and sold wands.
There's no further entomology, so we're just going with they're probably from the Mediterranean, as, you know, olive trees are native to the Mediterranean.
That makes sense.
And the Ollivander family seems to have fondness for naming their children, or at least the males, with names beginning with G.
Really?
We've got Garrick, Gervais, Jebold, Geraint. So there you go.
Oh, jeez. I always thought it was weird when families would name their kids all with the same first letter.
My brother and I.
Oh, well.
It's okay. We're Matthew and Melanie. I don't think it's too bad.
Fine. It's just when you have, like, a lot of kids and you keep that going, like, the 19 kids and counting people over in the U.S. are all with J names.
So are the kids that were rescued from California.
Oh, yeah.
They're all J names.
I was reading about that yesterday when I was at the doctor's office. I was like, oh, no. That's no good.
Yeah. I wish the best for those kids. Those poor kids. Aww.
But yes, I think it's very weird when you have a ton of kids and they're all the same first letter. But I mean, it's fine.
Surely it'll get confusing at some point. Like,
I mean, people who name their kids with different first letters also call them the wrong name all the time. So how bad is it when you have the same letter?
I have some friends who are identical twins,
oh, no.
And they're like, you can tell them apart, and you have been able to tell them apart for a few years. But apparently their dad was really bad about it. He was like, Kate, Emma, whichever.
Whoever you are standing right there, come over here.
Yeah, I think it was the dad they told me that it happened to a few times. It might have been the mum. Who knows?
Yeah, I get called my cousin's name all the time by my grandma, and when my grandpa was alive, he would just call me the wrong name. So she's like, it's fine. I'm used to it by now. I'll answer to a name if it's directed at me.
Yeah. If they're directed at me, they're probably talking to me. Anyways. The Parkinson family. What does it say on Pottermore?
An early girlfriend of Draco Malfoy, Pansy Parkinson, was described as a hard-faced Slytherin girl. And that's all we get.
Do you want to know what we get on the wiki?
Oh no. Probably like the entomology and that's it.
No.
Oh.
Was a pureblood wizarding family. The family is considered one of the Sacred 28 by the author of the Pureblood Directory. At least one member of the family was sorted into Slytherin. And then family members. Pansy, Slytherin student in the at Hogwarts in the 1990s, and Perseus Parkinson, Minister of Magic, 1726 to 1733. No entomology, nothing else.
Oh, well, that's kind of lame. Yeah, we get her being super mean to, like, Hermione, and they always, talk about her and her gang of Slytherin girls, basically.
Mm.
She also made fun of Angelina's hair for having it being all braided and stuff, which was not nice. Didn't appreciate that. We don't get a lot about Pansy. We just, whenever she's mentioned, she's terrible. So
yeah, pretty much. She's
all
just
we get.
A terrible, terrible person.
She was a prefect, though.
She didn't end up with Draco because J.K. had based her off, like, the worst bullies at school, and she thought it would be too nice to let her end up with her high school sweetheart.
I understand. I was glad that he didn't end up with her, so.
Yeah. Right, moving along then.
We have the Pruitt family.
Woo!
On Pottermore, it says Harry learned that the brothers Gideon and Fabian, whose sister was Molly Weasley, who we talked about in a previous episode, fought like heroes but were famously killed by Death Eaters in the First Wizarding War. Antonin Dolohov was convicted of their murder, but it is said it took 5 Death Eaters to kill them.
So, the Pruitts are part of the Sacred 28, obviously. With the deaths of Fabian and Gideon in the First Wizarding War, the Pruitt family became extinct in the male line, although it continues in the female line through the children of Molly Weasley.
And she had lots of them.
Yes. It's likely that some members of the family were labelled blood traitors, as they were part of the Order of the Phoenix and did not believe in the ideology of blood purity. However, as several Pruitts married into the Black family without the Black member being disowned, it implies that the Pruitts were more acceptable in the elite circles than families such as the Weasleys.
Huh. I wonder why that is.
Distinctive family traits include red hair and large noses. It's unknown whether Molly's second cousin, an accountant, is a pureblood or not. He could have a muggle mother. The squid.
Huh. Yeah. I wish we knew more about him.
Yeah. Yes, but we don't. So, Pruitt is of Welsh origin. It is derived from the Middle English word pro, meaning brave or valiant, and the suffix et, which implies smallness. Thus, it is believed to be derived from the nickname for someone small but brave.
Hey!
That's us!
Yes. I also like to be brave from time to time, but you're the only Gryffindor on this podcast.
Yeah, you can be brave. You're just more brains than brawn.
I mean, this is true. But yeah, I like that you think that I'm super brave and stuff.
You could be.
If pushed.
If pushed. I believe in you.
Hooray. Yeah, so all we really know about the Pruitts is that Molly's brothers were killed, and Harry now owns Fabian's old watch.
And they are related to the Blacks.
Yes. Well, now
everybody is.
Yeah, apparently.
I'm pretty sure if you're part of the Sacred 28, you are related to the Blacks.
Yeah, everyone's related if you go back far enough. It's fine.
Well, there is, like, this certain distance. Like, there comes a point where you're like, are you really related? Like, really? It's like,
you're not fifth cousins twice removed or something terrible like that.
It's like, I think, Meghan Markle, who's marrying Prince Harry.
Yeah.
They've traced her line back, like, both their lines are traced back to, like, Charles I. And that's where they deviated. And I'm like, come on, that's like 400 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back far enough, you're going to get down to less and less people, so it's possible, but if it's that far back, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know.
As long as you're not, like, first cousins, it's alright.
Or siblings. Probably not a good idea.
I mean, after you get out of first cousin territory, I think you're good.
Yeah.
But anything less than first cousins, so siblings and such, probably shouldn't go there.
I worked for a family in Queensland, and apparently what often happened with their family, like this was common, they encouraged it, was, okay, so say there's, a family of 7 kids,
Mm-hmm.
and so
I'm scared of whatever you're going to say.
So their mother, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this. Their mother's sister-in-law, so not her brother, her brother's wife,
Mm-hmm.
her sister's kids. They would, encourage them to marry them. So there's no blood relation.
So they're cousins?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they would encourage this, to keep it within that group kind of thing. It was, really bizarre, and I was like, huh?
They should be able to marry whoever they want.
Yeah, there's no blood, so on that level it's fine. It was just weird. It was like, okay.
Oh, that is very weird.
Yeah. Oh, they were a weird family. Not as bad as the second family I worked for, but they were weird. Anyway, let's move on to... We deviate now and then. We have good talks, and we share them with the world.
Yes, we do.
So we move along to the Rosier family.
Yes, we have Evan Rosier was a Death Eater killed the year before Voldemort's first downfall. We hear about him when we are in the Pensieve in Book 4, and Harry is, sitting in on these trials that took place a while ago, and when... Oh, what is his name? Karkaroff. When he is brought in for questioning, he gives the name of Rosier, and Barty Crouch Sr. says Rosier was killed. So basically that name doesn't mean anything to us anymore. Yeah, so that's all we really get about him.
Yeah, we don't get much at all on the wiki. It's pretty much, it says, it's likely that the members of the Rosier family have thick eyelids, as 2 of the daughters of Druella Rosier and Synergist Black were described as having heavy eyelids by Harry Potter. It is unlikely that this characteristic is inherited from the father's side, as there's no mention of this feature in the Black family. Although I'm pretty sure, doesn't Bellatrix have heavy eyelids? Or something?
Yes, she does. She's often described that way. Yeah.
Yeah. So, then we get a few names like Evan Rosier, Felix Rosier, Minute Lestrange, Nee Rosier. Oh, apparently there's Vinda Rosier, a witch who lived in the early 20th century and was one of Gellert Grindelwald's followers.
Ooh. We know that name.
The inclusion of the Rosiers in a French family tree of the Lestrange family suggests the family originated or has branches in France. And etymology, Rosier is French for rose tree or rose bush, and its common surname in Francophone, I hope that's how you say it, areas. It is also the name of a fallen angel who was considered the patron demon of tainted love and seduction.
What? That's kind of cool.
There you go.
Interesting.
Moving us along to the Rowell family, can you please read Pottermore?
I can. I've been doing that all day. Another Death Eater, Thorfinn Rowell, was described as big and blonde and got into trouble with Voldemort when Harry, Ron, and Hermione escaped his clutches in central London in the Deathly Hallows. Yep. He was on the tower when Dumbledore was killed. Apparently he was shooting curses off everywhere during the battle that was raging on below.
Yep. All we are told on Wiki is that they're part of the Sacred 28, and the child who should not be mentioned became a member of this family through adoption. And we have Damocles Rowell, Minister of Magic, 1718 to 1726. And Euphemini Rowell, legal guardian of the child who should not be named. Nice. And of course Thorfinn. There is no etymology. Okay. Which is surprising, because I'm pretty sure Rowell is a real first name that I've heard.
Really?
I'm sure.
I haven't heard it over here.
Like, not like personally, like movie or something. So maybe it's just a made up one.
Maybe. I mean, I'm sure you could look up entomology somewhere else, and it's just not on the Wikia.
Yeah, I can't be bothered.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't know a lot about him. He was big and blonde, and he was a Death Eater. That's all we really get.
Surname Rao. Let's see what comes up. An interesting surname with variant spellings.
Yes.
It is a Latinized form of the name Roll, equivalent to Middle English personal name Rolf. So it's based off a first name.
Okay.
Is the quick summary without diving too deep into it.
Understood.
So, we're still not knots. Sorry, I couldn't help it. I saw their name again.
Uh-huh. Gotcha.
So we got the Selwyn family.
Yes, we do. Dolores Umbridge claimed at one point to be related to the Selwyn family, although whether this is true or not is unclear. A Death Eater named Selwyn was involved in the kidnapping of Luna Lovegood, but his appearance in the Potter stories was brief.
Yep, I've got nothing more than the information you've just read.
Yeah. She claimed that the Slytherin's locket, the S actually stood for Selwyn.
Yes, I remember that. So there you go. Can't stand Umbridge.
Yeah, she's the worst. I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, like, I hate her more than Voldemort.
I think a lot of people do, and it's interesting because I think the reason people hate her more than Voldemort is because she's more real.
Yeah. Yeah, Voldemort's very much fantasy villain.
Yes, and it's not even just that he's fantasy because of the way he looks, it's just we don't often, well, hopefully we won't in our time encounter a person that's trying to, get rid of an entire race of people, basically.
Yeah, like he's he's Hitler-esque, but
yes,
he also doesn't feel as real as Hitler.
Yeah, because we're so far removed from that.
Yeah.
And so Dolores Umbridge could be your teacher at school who's a terrible person. So she's more relatable, more somebody that you could actually see yourself having in your life. So that's why she's worse.
Or like your supervisor at work.
Anything like that.
Yeah. Just
anybody who's power hungry.
Yeah. And don't even need a lot of power. She's middle management. You can just tell she's that stuck in middle management kind of person.
Yeah.
So, Selwyn is an uncommon surname of Anglo-Saxon origin, derived from the words sell, castle, and win, friend. It is also the name of a mountain range in the Canadian Rockies and a Cambridge college.
Huh.
There you go.
I see.
So now we're moving on to the family I chose to join.
Yes.
Shacklebolts.
Woo! On Pottermore, Kingsley Shacklebolt was one of the Wizarding world's finest Aurors, assigned to protect the Muggle Prime Minister during the Second Wizarding War. He was later named Temporary Minister of Magic, or for Magic. It says Minister for Magic. I always call them Minister of Magic.
Yep.
It's really up to you.
So there is pretty much nothing on the wiki that you didn't read. So I am looking up entomology, and all I get is Kingsley Shacklebolt.
Yeah. It's pretty self-explanatory.
It just means pure awesome. That's what I'm going to say.
I like that.
Or, we could break it down to shackle and bolt. So it's the bolt that goes through a shackle to keep someone captured.
Yes, because he was an Auror.
Yes.
He was the Wizarding Police.
There we go.
I think we figured it out. Crack the code.
Crack the code. We're on to you, JK. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Move down. Alphabetical. Sorry, I've just opened more wikis and they didn't fall out alphabetically like they're meant to. That was very rude.
How dare they?
I need to go down alphabetically. So this moves us on to the Shafiq family.
No appearances were made by the Shafiq family in the Potter stories.
Yep.
We got nothing.
All I've got is they're part of the Sacred 28, and their etymology. The Arabic word root occurs in the Arabic, and then they've got the Arabic, also meaning centers, whose meaning also centers on mercy, but one such word means twilight. So they're not sure.
Yeah,
it could be
one or the
twilight.
other.
It could be a mercy twilight root.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's like the Thali that we had last time.
Yeah.
They are also not mentioned, so that's it. That's all we got.
We have the Slughorn family.
Yeah, we do. I did not know that they were part of the Sacred 28, but Potions Master and former head of Slytherin House, Horace Slughorn, had a reputation for collecting bright students and inviting them to parties known as the Slug Club.
His father was a high-ranking ministry official at the Department of International Magical Cooperation, and he and his wife both died by the time Horace Slughorn retired in 1981. Even though Slughorn has no children of his own, the Slughorn family line continued through another relation.
1981 is when he retired?
Yes.
So he retired the year Voldemort fell.
Yes. Probably because
he's... correlation.
I was thinking maybe because his beloved, Lily died. He loved Lily.
Maybe.
Or so he tells us. He thought she was the most brilliant witch.
Well, she was.
Yes.
He couldn't believe that she was Muggle-born.
Oh.
That always bothered me.
Well, he comes from a Sacred 28, so...
I understand, but
and he's pretty good considering half of this list is Death Eaters. Actually, at the end, we're going to go through and count how many Death Eater families there are in the Sacred 28.
Okay, we can do that. Yeah, we get a lot, some Horace Slughorn in the books, not a ton. He's just in, the Half-Blood Prince, and then we get some of him in the Deathly Hallows, but that's about all. He was a good teacher.
Yeah, I liked him.
Yeah. He was a bit pompous, but, he earned it.
So next we have the Travis family. What's it say on Pottermore?
Was there no entomology for Slughorn?
Nope. It's a slug with a horn.
Alright, got it. Travers, one of the Death Eaters to escape from Azkaban. Travers was famous for helping murder the McKinnons.
There is nothing on here other than Travis is one of his Voldemort's Death Eaters, and Torquil Travis, a wizard who lived in the early 20th century. I've googled the entomology myself, and it comes from French and English, and it's an occupational name for a gatherer of tolls on passages such as bridges, fords, and other thoroughfares, or from Middle English and Old French, traverse, meaning passage, crossing.
Wow.
Sorry, traverse. And then Old French is traverse, to cross. Yeah.
Huh.
So there you go.
Interesting. I did not know that was what they were called, the people that took the tolls.
There you go. We learned something.
We don't encounter a lot of tolls when you're in Ohio, but if you're going out of state, you'll usually go onto a road that has a toll, because we have to go through several tolls when we go on vacation every year down the East Coast.
In America, do you still have a cashier at your toll, or is it all now automated where you have your little toll pass that clicks as you pass under the toll?
There is they call it the fast pass lane, the people that have the cards, but we just go through one that has a person there that takes money.
We don't have that anymore. There is nowhere that has a person. You have to go online and either get a pass, or you can register your number plate for X amount of travels through, which is what I've done because I barely use them. Wow. I bought one last year, at the start of last year, and I haven't used it.
That's crazy.
Because I don't go to Sydney, and if I do, I tend to take public transport, but if I go through Sydney, I need it because I don't want to drive around Sydney or on weird roads to avoid tolls. It's easier just to take the toll road and go straight through.
Yeah,
so, yeah. I just need an excuse. I just need an excuse to go up to Newcastle or something, just so I can use the damn thing.
I'm sure you could come up with something.
I've got friends there. If I really wanted to go, I'd go. And I do want to go, it's just my car's unreliable, so I stick close to home.
So I've heard.
I'm getting a new one.
I believe you.
Right.
I just believe it more when it actually happens.
We're down to our last two.
Yes, we are. We have the big, the best, the Weasleys.
I was going to say, it's a name we know.
Yes, we know tons about this family. So, the entry on Pottermore says, Bill, Charlie, Percy, Fred, George, Ron, and Ginny were members of a strong dynasty, which, despite suffering heavy casualties during the first fight against He Who Must Not Be Named, is certain to continue for countless generations. Molly and Arthur had many grandchildren, including Ron and Hermione's children, Rose and Hugo, and Harry and Ginny's three, James, Albus, and Lily.
There you go. So we've got loads of information on here. So I've just flicked through, and I think some things of note is the Weasleys, unlike many other pureblood families, willingly associate with Muggles, Muggleborns, and half-bloods, and do not consider themselves superior to others because of their blood status. Thus, elitist pureblood families such as the Malfoys and the Blacks consider them blood traitors and treat them with disdain. Cinderella Black was even disowned by her family for marrying Septimus Weasley. Despite being one of the biggest blood traitor families, they seem rather proud of it.
They are.
They tended to have large numbers of children, an unusual trait for wizarding families. For several generations...
Why is it odd for wizarding families to have lots of children? That's my question.
Maybe because, in the olden days, people would have lots of children on the theory most of them would die. So it's just, if you had enough, surely some of them would survive. But wizards don't have that problem because they've got magic and stuff to keep their families alive and healthy. So they
only need a few kids.
They only need a few kids. And then the Weasleys are just like, children!
All of them!
For several generations, only boys were born into the Weasley family until the birth of Ginevra, Molly Weasley. This trend ended with the grandchildren of Arthur and Molly, who included more girls than boys.
Woo.
And where's the other one I found that I like? The family's financial status likely changed with the great commercial success of Weasley's Wizard Wheezers and the successful careers of various members. By the 21st century, many Weasleys and their relatives worked for the Ministry of Magic, including Arthur, Percy, Ron, and their in-laws Harry Potter and Hermione Granger.
True. All very true.
There you go.
We love us some Weasleys.
Oh, there we go. Arthur Weasley was the son of Septimus Weasley and Cinderella Black. There you go.
Yeah. So he's like second cousins, I think they said, of Sirius.
Something like that. There is a very long etymology.
Oh, goody.
But
it's about weasels, right?
Oh, wait, no, it's... Oh, okay. So they're talking about the first names, actually, because it would appear that there's a pattern in the Weasley family members' names, alluding to the medieval historian figure and Arthurian legend. So... Oh, I'm not actually going to bother reading that. If anyone wants to read, it's actually quite interesting. It's just very, very long. But, yeah, they're pretty much, saying, Ginny's full name is Ginevra, the Italian form of the name, Guinevere, who was Arthur's queen.
Yep.
And then Muriel had a cousin named Lancelot, so that's Aunt Muriel, who was one of Arthur's knights. Though it should be noted that Muriel is only related to the Weasleys by marriage through Molly. So, stuff like that.
No one likes her.
So yeah, there's loads. Ron has several different points about his name, and Percy is Percival, which is one of Arthur's knights of the Round Table. George is possibly a reference to St. George. Fred is a diminutive of Frederick, which may be allusion to Frederick Barbarossa, who was Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire and served in the Crusades. Barbossa means Redbeard. There you go. I'm going to stop there. But yeah, it's really interesting if anyone wants to actually sit down and read the whole thing.
So just on the Wikia?
Yeah, under the Weasley family. It's probably a good page long.
Oof.
So yeah. There we go.
Yeah. So, moving on from the best family ever to the final Sacred 28 family, Yaxley.
Ew.
And we have one line. The only Yaxley in the Potter books was another dastardly Death Eater.
Yep, it's Yaxley. It's the surname of pureblood wizarding family, blah-de-blah-de-blah. They are related to the Black family, surprise. More distantly to the Crouch, Weasley, and Longbottom families. It's likely that the Yaxley family originated in Scotland, as Corbin Yaxley speaks with a strong Scottish accent.
Yeah, we get Yaxley in the very beginning of the Deathly Hallows. He appears on the same road as Snape does when they both apparate to go to the Malfoy mansion. He works in the Ministry of Magic wearing very elaborate robes of, black and gold. It's said he's there when Dolores Umbridge is interrogating Muggleborns. So yeah, and he's punished, I believe, for letting them escape. Or something.
So we have one other family member, not in the books, but from the family tree. So we have Lysandra Black, née Yaxley, wife of Arcturus Black II, mother of Cedrella Weasley, née Black, Calidora Longbottom, née Black, and Charis Crouch, née Black. So etymology, Yaxley is the name of two English villages, one in Cambridgeshire and one in Suffolk.
Okay, then. There
you go. Right. So, there's some behind the scenes and interesting notes. So, Ollivander's mother is Muggle-born, and this was the fact prior to the Sacred 28 being published. It is, however, possible that the directory's author was unaware of this or overlooked it for other reasons.
Mm-hmm.
The Potter family was excluded due to their common Muggle surname, and that Henry Potter was also outspoken about his pro-Muggle views when he was in the Wizengamot. And then there's some recent stuff about how they are pure blood, so on and so forth. The Weasleys deplore their status as one of the 28 due to their ancestral interest in the Muggle world. Their protest has earned them the distaste of other families. Ironically, despite Henry Potter's outspoken pro-Muggle views being the chief reason for the Potter family being excluded, the Weasleys did not share such treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, the Malfoys, despite being respectable members of the Sacred 28, do not take their pure blood supremacy to the point of inbreeding and are willing to marry half-bloods, as shown as their family tree.
I see.
So, shall we count the Death Eater families?
I'm counting right now.
Okay, I'll count 2, and we'll make sure we get the same one.
Okay. Give me just 1 second.
Do we count Crouch?
Yeah, I do. Because the younger was... Okay. Should I do the Jeopardy theme instead?
I was going to now check a few of them to make sure to check, because I'm like, oh, were they?
Okay, I have my count.
Okay, give me a second. No, they weren't. I'm looking at the more obscure ones, just double checking, going, I don't think they were, because I don't remember them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, they were. So that's cool. Okay, what was your count?
I have 11.
I have 16.
How?
Avery, Black. Oh, I shouldn't count Bulstrode because we don't know.
We don't know. It's correct.
Let me check Burke. but Caro, so that's 3. Crouch is 4. We can't count Flint because we don't know, I don't think. Damn it, I just counted Slytherins essentially.
Oh, Mel.
Wait. Okay, so the Burkes were not Death Eaters. I didn't think they were.
Nope.
The Flints were not. Okay, give me a second. I'm recounting now.
Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh. I love that we both counted and we both came up with such different answers.
10. 12.
Okay.
So, Avery, Black, Caro, Crouch, Lestrange, Malfoy, Not, Rosier, Rowell, Selwyn, Travis, and Yaxley.
Those are the ones I had too, but I don't know how I got only 11 in case I counted wrong. Give me 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, yeah, I did miscount. My bad.
Okay, so 12. So nearly half the Sacred 28 were Death Eaters.
Yeah, but more of them were either not mentioned, or we don't know, or they were definitely not. So, because there were a lot of ones that were mentioned that we saw Slytherin kids from, but we don't know if their parents were Death Eaters.
And then we have ones that, while not Death Eaters, were definitely questionable people, like the Burkes and the Gaunts.
Yes, because as soon as I saw the Gaunts, I was like, well, they probably would have been had they survived long enough, but not so much.
I can't say. Voldemort's not a Death Eater. He's the leader.
No, but I think that his ancestors would have been right in there with him. You know, Morphin and Marvola would have been.
I don't know. Would there have been because of who he was? He was the half-blood
had they not known
son. Yeah,
had they not known who he was.
Maybe. I suppose.
They hated muggles and muggleborns and all that nonsense.
Yeah. You know, follow the half-blood until we wipe out the muggleborns, and then we can deal with the half-bloods.
Exactly.
So yes, that's the Sacred 28 in 2 parts.
Yes. It took quite a while, but it's all good.
We managed. There's so many of them. Well, there's 28.
Yes, that is the point of it being named as such.
Right. So, shall we do another random ships?
Yes, and I'm assuming we're going to do it from the second half of this whole thing.
Okay. So this is the segment where we build a ship, set it out in the Black Lake to see if it sails or sinks. We have the cannons to assist us in sinking ships we do not like. Specifically, the cannon.
Right. And even though Mel might not like a ship from the moment it's said, she's not allowed to sink it until something is attempted. She's tried to do that before, and I won't allow it.
Right, I've got my person. Do you have yours?
I do indeed.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Lucius Malfoy.
Oh no. Oh no. This is no good.
Why? Why do you do this to me? Blame you.
Because I can. Because I'm amazing. I like
they're like 45% Death Eaters, and you have to pick a non-Death Eater.
Of course. That's how I roll. And you would pick a Death Eater.
Of course I would. It's fun. Did last time too.
Yeah, I know you did.
Well, you see, once again, we're going with the same storyline. The Death Eaters capture Ollivander, and dirty, awful things happen. It's a very dark fan fiction. And poor Ollivander. Lucius, stop it. You have a wife. Is that good
That's
enough?
it?
That's it.
It's fine.
I'm gonna fire a cannon.
Okay, go ahead.
Yay, it's sinking! Hooray! Yay!
Oh, man.
But yes, I just quickly want to say, like, I think the Sacred 28, it's kind of this cool concept in the disgusting kind of way. But, you know, that these wizards were so obsessed with their blood purity that they made a directory saying, keep your line pure, only marry within these families.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess it makes sense if you're into having just wizardy wizards in your family, then you're gonna do that.
Considering the Weasleys' muggle-loving ways, I'm really surprised that they maintained being part of the Sacred 28. Like, they were only marrying within those families for a long time.
Yeah, maybe they just... You can't help who you love.
Yeah, it's just surprising that, you know, in the entire world, they loved people within the Sacred 28.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they set out to do that because look at Molly and Arthur having a whole bunch of kids. They obviously were in love, so...
Yeah. Oh, yes,
definitely.
They
weren't just together because they settled.
No.
Into each other. So.
They were so into each other.
Yes, they're pretty amazing.
It's like the theory that Bellatrix and Rodolphus, their marriage is very much, this is our duty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you know, I believe that.
Yeah. Bellatrix is all about the Voldemort.
Ugh. Yeah. We don't talk about it.
See, until Cursed Child, my theory was that she was barren.
Really?
I had this theory that, you know, because she would have filled her duty and popped off a couple of kids.
Well, because she said in the beginning of Half-Blood Prince, if I had sons, I would willingly give them to to Voldemort's whatever.
Yes. Yes. So that was my theory. But
you can keep that theory because as we've talked about, we don't acknowledge.
We reject the Cursed Child
on principle.
Yep. So yeah, she's barren because otherwise she would have fulfilled her duty and had children.
Even if she didn't love her husband, she'd do what she had to do.
Yes, and hey, having kids, they continue. But then we don't know how old she was when she went to Azkaban. Maybe that was on the cards. They were like, let's get Voldemort on the throne, so to speak, and then we'll have our kids.
Yeah, I'm assuming she was around the same age as Sirius. I always just assumed that.
Older.
Is she?
Yeah.
Is she the oldest of the Black sisters?
Middle. And we know Narcissa is older than Sirius. From fan fiction, being the source of fan knowledge, it always seems that when Sirius was in his first year, she was in her 6th. So that would make her 5 years older.
She was born in 1951.
There we go. He was 1959.
Okay.
So
that means when she went to Azkaban, the year after Voldemort fell?
Yep, so 1982.
Mm-hmm. So she was 31 already.
Yeah, there we go. So, leaving it a bit late there, Bella.
Yeah, she was into her, 40s?
Yeah.
Late 40s when she got out.
Yeah. Having said that, she is not obligated to have kids if she didn't want them. I just find it surprising that she didn't want them.
I understand. I'm right there with you. I am surprised that she never popped out a couple of pureblood children. But that's her prerogative. She was too busy,
serving Voldemort.
Exactly.
Fawning after Voldemort.
That too.
Oh, honey, not tonight. I've got a headache.
Too much killing. I'm all spent.
I still think we need to do an adult episode called Getting Strange with the Lestranges.
Yeah, you get right on that, Mel. I'm gonna leave that to you.
I'm gonna make you blush.
Oh, it's not hard to do.
Oh, you're one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
See, I've got rosacea, so my cheeks are like always red. And
My friend has that too, so I totally
what
understand.
happens is people only notice this after they say something. Go, oh, look, her cheeks are red, and I'm like,
They're
they're always red, you imbecile.
I hope you do call them an imbecile, because that's hilarious.
No, I don't. I'm too nice.
You are?
I know, it's really weird. I'm actually really nice in person. Unless I'm with my best friend. We are so awful when we're together. We're just like whisper, 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 giggle, giggle, giggle.
Layla?
Yeah. Oh, we are awful. But anyways, look, if we were wizards, we would clearly be part of the Sacred 28. Because we're just that awful. But anyways, we should wrap this show up. And tell people where to find us. You can find us, if you haven't found us already, on Facebook as Witch Weekly Podcast, Twitter, Witch Weekly Cast. Our email is witchweeklypodcast@gmail.com. We are part of the MM Podcast Network. Find out more about that at mmpodcastnetwork.com. There's an email address of the same name at gmail.com. The network is on Facebook and Twitter, MMP Network on Twitter, MM Podcast Network on Facebook. If you want to contact me personally, I am M_A_Bickett on the Twitters. Marissa.
The people can tweet me directly at RissaRu312, and guys, as always, please leave us a rating and a review on iTunes so that we can reach more people and more people can interact with us, write us emails, all that kind of fantastic stuff. We just want to reach more people and have more people interact with this amazing community we already have built with you lovely people. So yeah, just give us a rating and a review on iTunes, and we can always read those out on the podcast.
Yep. And everybody, just remember, happiness can always be found even in the darkest of times, if only one remembers to tune in to Witch Weekly.